Hello and welcome to today's videos. We're going to cover the rookie mid laners in Lol Esports Tier 1 World's Qualifying Regions. The way I determine who a rookie is if they have played, if this is the first time they're going to play, possibly more than half a season. If they haven't done it already in their career, this is considered a rookie season for them. Looking at a player like Reeker, for example, on the board. He played 18 games for Mad Lions during 2022 spring split, but because Mad Lions played like 40 games that entire season, that's less than half, so therefore he did not use up his rookie split. I've changed how I view rookies just a tad over the last month or so. So that's kind of a great example of somebody that's still using rookie status. On here, we have about a dozen players. We're going to go through them, and then we're going to go over the stats. So we have Loki playing for Cloud9, 19 years old. He's going to be 20 years old, I think, like maybe by the time this video actually gets uploaded. Saint, 20 years old for Lion Gaming. Lin Feng, 20 years old for OMG. XQW, 21, playing with LGD. Saytab, 20 years old, playing with Thunder Talk. Saber, age unknown for Ultra Prime. Kamalu, playing with Heretics. He's 19. Reeker, 23 years old for SK. Zajac, 21 years old, playing with Vitality. Pengyan, played with DN Freaks for a couple games this past split. Hongq, of course, everyone knows who Hongq is. He's the marquee mid laner on this board. Surprisingly, 17 years old, a very, very young player, but performed exceptionally well at first stand and has only gotten better as the splits went along. And then Dyer, 18 years old for Team Secret Wales. So, something to note here, we think of age. Age is a good indicator because usually it means more experience. And in this case it does. I mean, Reeker had 316 games of ERL experience and then 18 games of LEC experience before this season. So what does that mean? Well, I mean, you've had an ample amount of opportunity to develop by now. So, kind of got to be ready to perform. I know SK isn't great, but with that many games played, I mean, you're not going to find another opportunity probably. Other notables, I mean, a lot of people have 100 or so games on here, but Lin Feng, 89, and then 6 games with OMG last season. XQW, 255 LDL games and 7 games with LGD in 2023. Saytab, 228 games in Challengers with 25 games. Oh, actually 35 games played with DRX last season. He split time and actually did not play the majority of the season. He also played a couple games in 2022. Hongq, 81 games, only 2 games with PCS last season. Some guys that had puzzling amounts. I mean, Saber, only 46 games. Don't even know how old he is. So he's one of the least developed players on the board. Kamalu for Heretics, no Tier 2 games. Technically playing in Tier 3 in Europe, and therefore Tier 2 of ERLs. He was LFL Division 2. So, a big jump for him, and he hasn't done too bad as far as I'm concerned. Dyer, 16 games of experience before this season, and very young at 18 years old. KDA-wise, Loki, 3.8 with Cloud9. Zajac, 4.5 with Vitality. Hongq, 4.1. I would say CFO and Cloud9 are the 2 best landing spots on this board for a player to kind of come in and have, veterans around them and players that have been there and done that and went to international events that could possibly help develop a player. But I will say Zajac with Vitality has done quite well. He's done a very good job given the circumstances with a rookie topside completely on that squad. And now they're, role swapping Niski into support. Kill participation. Saint, very involved. Over 3 out of every 4 kills for Lion Gaming. Now, he only played 5 games, but he was very important to what they were doing. He was very involved. High farm at 8.8. Lower end of things, Satab 60%. So Thundertalk fighting away from Satab. Think of 1XN and Feather being very active. Saber 62% and 7.9. Ultra Prime not great, but Saber's not helping the cause all that much. SK, so Reeker, 51% kill participation. We're just seeing Isma had 90%, and everyone else just kind of like we're on an island. Isma was just the common person between all of them, and no one else was really doing anything. Zajac 64 and 8.9. Pengyan in the games that he played, 90% kill participation. They definitely fought around him. Hongyu 66 8.9. ROI, so damage divided by gold. Who is aggressive? Well, Loki definitely isn't. 1.35 is the lowest on the board, and it's not particularly close. Reeker had 1.4, Saber had 1.4, but there's guys with 1.822 for a very limited sample size with Pengyan, but 1.82 for Zajac, that's a lot more damage than what Loki was dealing. Loki is kind of just like going through the motions with Cloud9. And based on that roster and the way it's built and the way they're drafting, it really, Loki needs to do much more. And personally, I thought Saint was better than Loki going into the season. And it's shown in the stats. Saint's dealing 6.1 share differential on Lion Gaming, and Lion Gaming is no world beater, but Saint's definitely been their best player statistically. 6.1 share differential is indicative of that. Like, he's dealing a lot more damage than the gold he's receiving, probably 30% or so, where Loki's 1.4%. But very limited sample sizes. The problem with the LTA format, I've said it the last two videos, I'm going to say it again, it doesn't give players, young players, an ample time to develop at all and recover and improve week to week. A lot of people, though, in the 1.5 to 1.65 range. Saber struggling, 1.4 and 1.8. Not great. Ultra Prime, of course, a disaster, but he's not helping the cause with the very limited damage coming from the mid lane role. Kamalu 1.66 and a 5.2 share differential. So for Heretics, he's clearly doing the carry part of the deal. Whether it's 1A or 1B, or it's just an outright secondary carry, that is the role of mid lane for the majority of metas. Zajac only 3.9 share differential, though, with a 1.82. What does that mean? That means Vitality clearly are dealing a lot of damage, or he's getting a lot of, yes, because the ROI is high, which indicates a high damage, low gold, but share differential indicates that the damage share is not as crazy different compared to the gold share. So the team is definitely dealing damage. Someone's dealing a lot of damage on Vitality, probably Karzi, and it's Zajac's clearly the secondary carry on that team because of that. Pengyan in the two games he played was insane. But I don't think he should be playing over Bulldog anyways. Hongyu 1.75, 5.3. Hongyu clearly has been a secondary carry on that team behind Doggo, and they're going back and forth between top laners, Rest, and Driver, so that's a thing. Dyer 1.75 as well, 4.2 share differential. Obviously, that team deals a lot of damage. It's a Vietnamese squad that's kind of par for the course, a very young team, as we talked about his toe yesterday. Vision efficiency, I expect players that have played a lot of organized League of Legends to have better vision, because their coaches should have done that part and hey, let's set up objectives properly, let's anticipate where the opponent's going to be, let's scout properly, etc. And you should have decent vision. Honestly, I think it's one of the easiest parts of the game, personally. 4.37 for Saint, so very efficient in the 5 games he played, able to find properly placed wards. Lin Feng, not so much, 2.1. That's very bad. That's very low. But everyone's kind of in that same range of, mid 2s, and mid lane it kind of does sit there. You have some guys like Knight that do a great job because he finds, you got to think, though, too, to get good vision, you need to have good push in the early game. But that's part of it. That is part of it. And how many times are these guys getting ganked because they're younger players and maybe into an ample matchup for the opponent? and they're not placing the ward on the right side of the rift, anticipating, hey, scouting wise, this player likes to do this in this situation, so make sure you place your ward on here, play to the opposite side. Your opponent, your jungler should anticipate this as well, stuff like that. Gold difference, Lin Feng behind over 400 gold, getting diffied in the 13 games he played. Saber down 300. Kamalu in 14 games getting smoked in the laning phase, down 687. That's definitely an area where he needs to improve. Skipping a tier of play is a really bold move, and that is showing in the laning phase. He is getting diffied. Reeker, no excuse, getting diffied, 570 gold. With his experience, he should be doing well at this level. I mean, the guy that actually, really, only XQW, HogQ, and Dyer were really opening up leads and played a significant amount of games, and they only had like a 50 gold lead, which is indicating rookie mid laners struggling in the laning phase. Solo kills, Kamlu had 4 and 14. Satan Loki only had 1 each, but Zajac 4 and 14 as well. HongQ 13 and 41. Dyer 3 and 17. Champion pool wise, Satab was pretty crazy. He had 11 and 21 games. Pretty good. XQW 7 and 9. Lin Feng 8 and 13. HongQ played 14, but he also played. Also keep in mind, HongQ's stat line includes first stand, which is a higher level of play that anybody else on this board played. So that's something to think about as well. But the mid lane role, rookie wise, I think that HongQ's setting the pace. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.